Hi, welcome to Down Home Money. I'm Myra Oliver, and this is a simple approach to financial freedom. And today, I am so excited. I have a great guest. This is Derek Tye.
Hey, how's it going?
Derek is a great friend of mine, and he's such a businessman that I wanted him to come and share his life and how he's doing it, because he has rental properties. He's built a passive income. He has business. And, I talk about how there's 3 ways to build wealth: a passive income stream from rental properties, a investment portfolio, and building businesses. And Derek's got all 3. So great news. He's going to tell you all about it. So tell him about yourself.
Well, I'm so happy that I could be on the show. Thanks, Myra.
You're welcome.
So basically, I come from, a Midwestern town, Cincinnati, Ohio. My mom and dad, great people. They were married until my dad passed away after 25 years of marriage. But they never had a ton of money. They had, kind of normal jobs. My dad was kind of struggling because he was disabled, so he never really was being able to be the breadwinner, didn't have benefits or any of that. My mom worked for the same company 42 years.
Wow.
She was like an administrative professional, so she ended up kind of working her way up to assistant to the president of this big engineering firm. But they loved her. They took care of her. I saw her daily diligence. And she always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. She wasn't able to do that. So I really appreciated the fact that she just went to work every day.
Yeah.
But they never really built any wealth. And she did have a little 401k. Someone convinced her to put it into the most conservative fund possible.
Yeah.
And I think, after 40 years, it didn't have much money in it.
Mm-hmm.
But so she's 82 now. And so she's still living off of that, which is great. But I always was told by my parents to go get a corporate job, get climb the corporate ladder, become the president, and they believed in me. They thought I could do a lot, even though, we lived in this little 3-bedroom, 1-bath house, no air conditioning, no garage, no basement, gravel driveway, 5 kids. It was tight, 1,000 square feet. So I learned, I didn't get a silver spoon handout. I didn't have any kind of advantages. My parents weren't wealthy. So when I went into the corporate world, I thought, well, this is the way it's going to be. Mm-hmm. But I'm an entrepreneur, and I didn't know that until I had really gone through the corporate world for a few years. And I realized this isn't for me. So my wife and I in 2004, we got married at 18 and 20. I was 20, she was 18.
How many years have you been married?
23 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So, and she's an entrepreneur too. So we decided, let's get into real estate. So we quit our corporate jobs, and we went cold turkey into helping people buy and sell real estate as agents. We built up a team, and 16 years later, we've sold about 1,400 homes.
Wow. Look at the people's lives you've changed.
It's been amazing.
That's so cool.
I mean,
you've helped 1,400 people get in a home. That's incredible.
And then, honestly, talking about investments, I saw all these wealthy, I call them wealthy people buying and selling rental properties. One guy had 100 homes. And I asked him his story, and he was a loan officer, and he would just take extra money from each closing, and he would set it aside for a down payment, and he went out and bought one home about every 3 months. And he would go to foreclosure sales and buy homes, but he ended up getting to 100 properties in about 10 years.
It just shows that it's just about getting started. The first house is the hardest.
Always.
Definitely. The first house is the hardest. And if you just get started and be consistent in your behavior, just know that you're always looking for houses, and not every house is a good deal, and not every house is the right house for you. Everybody has a different niche and what they like, and so I just tell people. Rick and I did cheaper houses. Yeah. We went with the cheaper house route, but you do luxury homes, so I want you to share that.
Yeah, sure. Well, so my first ever investment property, I'd been selling real estate for 13 years or so. And I kept seeing, people making money. And so my first thought was to do flips, but I'm glad I didn't do it at this point. It's a long story, but our first property we ended up finding was this little property. It was a little cottage. It was a foreclosure. It was down on the river next to a national scenic river. It was in a floodplain. Yeah. And so a lot of people were scared about that for that first-time home buyers. They didn't want the extra insurance. Right. I ended up finding a Lloyd's of London policy and saved $1,200 a year on the flood insurance too. So there's always a way, guys.
That's
right. So I went from a $2,200 annual policy on flood insurance, which scared most home buyers away from buying this little cottage, to I think $1,200 or $1,000 a year. So anyway, sidebar. But that's, you got to keep thinking as an entrepreneur. How do I
You
save
do.
some money?
It's always about money.
And you and I are always thinking
Yes.
this way, right? So because that's cash flow.
That's right.
So we bought this little cottage for about $90,000. We put about $30,000 into it, and then I had all these people coming to me and saying, "Hey, I would like to rent that just for a weekend or just for a night. Would you consider that?" And I'm like, "Well, if we did that, we'd have to furnish the house." So, and then I had another guy said, "I'll give you $1,100 a month, and I'll be there for years and years. You'll never see me. You'll never hear from me. I'll just pay you every month." So I'm weighing like $1,100 a month versus how much could I get if I. Here's my thought, Myra. You and I haven't talked about this before, but think about a vending machine. If you own a vending machine, you would take a 24 can of Cokes and you would buy it for $10. And you would, what do? You break it up into single servings. You put it into the machine, and how much do you sell them for?
$1 a piece.
$1 a piece. So $24 for a $10 investment.
That's a great investment.
I thought the exact same thing. I'm like, okay, what if I take my 30 days of rental, because you can only rent it so many days a month. I either rent it to one guy for $1,100, which is like giving him the case of can of Coke, or I could take them out individually and sell the cans.
That's a great analogy. That's a great way to look at that.
So that's how I did it. And I thought, you know what? So I did a break-even analysis, and I said, if I just rented this house for like $110 a night, 8 nights a month, it would break me even on all my expenses, all my taxes, utilities, mortgage, interest, because I had an 80% loan on it. And I thought, that seems like if I just broke even on the weekends, so then if I got extra people that wanted to stay during the week or someone that came in for a week, then that's pure profit. So that's what we decided to do.
That's awesome.
So that was our very first property. That was our lowest dollar amount property. And then we got a little bit more ambitious. We bought one that just the purchase price was $425. We put about $50,000 into it. The bank appraised it at $575 within a year. And that one we rent out for $450 a night as a starting rate, and then additional people over 10 have to pay $25 per night.
Wow, that's great.
So and then we bought another one. It's worth about $500,000 now. And the point on these wasn't how much they were. We started with a little one. We took the cash flow from that. I could show the bank, hey, here's how much money I'm making. And then we took some of the profits off the table. I refinanced the first one because the equity went up so much. And I took some of that money and put it into the second one. And then I bought a third one. And then we just bought a 2-family in this little town. And we broke that up into 2 Airbnb units as well. So all 5 of my rental units are all luxury short-term rentals.
I love that. See, and everybody has different ways of doing this.
Yes.
And that just proves that where there's a will, there's a way.
Yes.
And I just tell people, you got to get started, because this is about building your wealth. It's just like owning a home. A lot of people, their whole net worth is tied to their home.
That's right.
And it's because they're doing monthly consistent payments, and the bank is taking care of it and applying a part of it to your principal. Yes. And so that's why they are building equity, and that's why they're building their net worth. And it's so important that people understand that you have to build your net worth. You can't wait for it to happen. You've got to decide today that you want to build either a passive income stream, or maybe you want to do it in the stock market. Yeah. It doesn't matter. There's ways, where there's a will, there's a way, but real estate's your and my game.
Oh, well, and so
we understand it.
And I think you should also do something you know and love. Like if someone says, if you live in Alaska and someone says, hey, I think you should invest in this condo in Hawaii, and you've never been to Hawaii before, my answer would be no. Right? So you don't know it. You don't understand it. So all 5 of my rental units are within a mile of my home.
I love that you said that, because when Rick and I started, we were buying in Dallas because that's what we could afford, and we were buying in a neighborhood that needed a lot of
some
help.
love. Yeah.
And so but once we moved forward in our journey of financial freedom and building passive income streams, then we sold those properties and we bought all of them in our town we're in now, because Rick manages and takes care of them. And you're so right. I mean, because we do have 3 properties in Florida, and it's hard to manage from long distance because you can't really manage from long
distance.
Well,
there's only a few things you can do to save money and management. If you do it yourself, until you get to a certain number of units, I believe you really should be managing it yourself.
You should do it yourself.
Now,
I agree.
Now, if you're a busy executive and you're spending lots of cash off, and your bread and butter is, you're an executive at a company and you want to do passive investment, that's different. But if you're on the other camp of people that are really struggling to get the cash flow going in the beginning to even make the rental property market work, manage your own properties. And
Right.
I talk about this principle in my book. So I wrote a book that came out last year.
He wrote a great book. You've got to get it. It is fantastic. Please share all about it.
So it's called The Lord's Prayer for Entrepreneurs. But basically, it's just a guide of my faith journey of entrepreneurship and faith. And so if you're not a faith person, you're still going to find a lot.
You still need to read the book because it's phenomenal. Seriously.
So it's a journey of how we kind of created some wealth and how I reconcile, how to do the right thing for people and then also make a buck at the same time, because people really struggle with that. That's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah, that's another discussion.
Because you feel like, well, if I'm making money, then I'm taking money, but that's not the case. If you're doing it in an honorable and ethical way, and if I buy something from Myra, then she blessed me and I blessed her.
Yes.
That's an exchange. So that's a whole nother
And I think that's our whole world today.
Yes.
I mean, we got to help each other.
Well, even
right?
the rental properties. Let's talk about that. I provide a beautiful 5-star experience for people for $450 a night. When they come and stay at my log cabin in Loveland, Ohio, when I invite you to come and do that.
Yes.
It's branchhillestate.com if you
love
want to come and stay at one of my properties. But we provide eye masks for people and mints on the pillows and
y'all do it
and
right.
breakfast.
I'm gonna need to come.
And fully stocked good coffee.
Wow.
All the dishes, like high end, like stoneware.
You're paying attention to the details.
Everything is thought of. You walk in, we have lights on ready for you. I have a pool table with the pool ball rack.
Oh, wow.
I've got an air hockey machine upstairs ready for your kids.
Okay, sign me up. I got to get online.
I've got the
sign
full
up.
driving machine, like the old arcade, the full size driving arcade machine
cool.
in the front where everyone else. So in the main living room, you've got this huge farm table that sits like 12 people, a pool table, a luxury leather couch, stone fireplace I had hand created with a beam from the 1800s, luxury high-end granite counters. When people walk in the door, we have a Ring camera on the front, so we don't see what's happening inside.
Right.
But when people open the door and that Ring dings, I can hear sometimes a comment as they walk in the door. It's so much fun, guys.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh! Look at the pool table.
Awesome.
Look at this.
That is awesome.
But here's my point. It's a value exchange. I have provided them an amazing value for $450.
And it's about experience. People want
that.
experiences.
And it's unique. Where else are they going to get this? I have a view. Anyway, here's the point. I never took money from those people. I'm not going to go to my grave someday going, I got to find a way to give this money back. I've already done something good. When you employ people honorably, when you pay them fairly, when you set up a service, and your rental properties, do you feel like you're stealing from people every month?
No, I think they're giving them a great deal.
And you're giving them value.
Yeah, and I mean, I had a tenant that just raised her own rent. It was so weird. She called my husband Rick.
She wants fairness.
She told Rick, she said, and it's a little 1-bedroom efficiency apartment, and she lived there a long time. And so anyway, her rent is, you're all are going to die, but it's $425. Yeah. At least that's what it was. Yeah. And she told Rick went in and painted and redid the flooring for her because she'd been there so long. And she told Rick, she goes, I'm going to start paying you $500 a month. And it's just interesting because people appreciate when you take care of them.
That's right.
And it's all about taking care of people and paying it forward. That's what it's all about. That's what life is about. And that's what I love about rental property is not everybody can buy a home.
Right.
And
they're not in a season.
They're not in a season sometimes.
Sometimes it's a temporary thing. They're only in town for a year. Or they just went through a divorce, or they just got their credit demolished because of a health issue. Things happen.
Yes, and we have. So we're providing a service.
If you didn't have the home available, they'd be in an apartment.
Exactly.
And how many more people want to be in a home?
There you go.
I would be for my family.
And I have so many tenants, Derek, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, I have tenants that have been with me 15 years.
Well, think about this, Myra, honestly.
They're buying those houses for me. They're paying for those houses
That's great.
for me.
Well, that's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. I want you to think about, a lot of times we put the focus on ourselves when we talk about investment. Oh, I got to build this big net worth. I got to build. And I know that's the reason why some of you guys came on this show is to see how can I build wealth. But if you start thinking about how can I add value to other people,
it'll come.
There's an expression in my book. I say money follows value.
Absolutely.
Money follows value at a time. If you're out there being a value to other people, the money will come.
And I truly believe that. If you help people get what they want, you'll get more than you ever dreamed of. I mean, it's a matter of, it just comes back to you. Yes, I love me some Zig.
Yes.
And it is so, and it's so rewarding helping people. And my whole thing about this, and the reason I did this, Down on Money, was because I want to show people. I mean, I have a Kentucky high school education. I'm very proud of it, and but I have no college, and it just proves that if you get purposeful with your money, you can have your money making you money. And that's my whole thing, is I want to show people that, to see their money differently. It's not about buying this expensive purse and about the clothes. I mean, I see some people and they're wearing their money. They're driving their money. They're living in their money, and they're wearing their money. And they work 4 weeks a month to pay those bills. Yeah. And they're not building a future. They're not building them a nest egg for later in life.
That's true.
And I watch that, and it breaks my heart. And you and I both know, I see a lot of real estate agents, because that's the field I'm in. Everybody knows I have real estate offices. And I see a lot of real estate agents make a lot of money. Yeah. But I also see them blow a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
it's easy come, easy go sometimes.
Oh,
well,
and
that's
it makes
not
me
easy
sad.
come, but it feels that way,
it's never easy come, right? But it looks like it's easy come because of the way they spend it. It's easy go.
Yes.
And so I meet with a lot of people, and I say a lot of times, you don't have a money making problem. Yeah. You got a money spending problem.
Or a keeping problem.
A keeping problem. So it's how much you keep, right? Because money gives you options and choices. And I don't know about you, but I want to work because I want to work, not because I have to work.
Oh my gosh. Well, and that's the thing, is if you live with purpose and you have a big why, you understand what you're called to do. Mm-hmm. And that's one reason I wrote that book, is because I really wanted people to know that there's a bigger purpose behind just making money to make money. It's like serving people, adding value. And the things that we're talking about, entrepreneurs do something really, really well. We find problems, and then we find a solution for that problem. Have you ever said, there should be a restaurant here? Or, oh my gosh, if someone did this product, or if someone invented this thing? You've got an entrepreneurial mindset. And I believe we're all built and designed to create things. And we're designed to solve problems.
Right.
So when we're buying rental property, we're serving a need that's out there. Yeah. We're not just, I'm going to buy rental property and then they'll come because whatever. It's like, no, I know there's people today in my city that want to stay and there's not enough hotel spaces, or they want to be in a home. I'll give you an example. We have this famous tennis tournament in Cincinnati. And so people come from all over the world, celebrities, everything else, to be part of this tennis tournament in Cincinnati. And so that weekend, we raised the rates quadruple. Okay, so one weekend might cost $2,000 to stay in one of my homes. But guess what? People are happy to pay it.
Yeah.
Because they're alternative.
It's about supply and demand. Is what
they
that's
want
about,
that.
right?
But they're writing us like complimentary letters. We'll be back next week, and then we'll be next year. Sure. Because they know what the alternative is. Yeah. They would have had to split 10 family members into 7 hotel rooms, and 7 hotel rooms at the rate that they would have charged would have been $3,000 or $4,000. And we become a value to them. Like, oh my gosh. Yes, we made some good money that weekend, but we also provide a value to them that they needed. So it's an exchange. So
it is.
Just put in your mindset right now, if you're thinking about, I'm going to buy some investment property, I'm going to do whatever. Just think of, how can I be a value to people in the long term? That's my.
And every area is different. Like right here in Northern Kentucky, you've got the Ark. Yes. People come from all over for that Ark. And do you stay at your place for the Ark too?
The people left the book, because they left it by accident. So I know people are staying for it.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many things you can do. I mean, the thing is you've got to get started, and you've got to build your financial status, so to speak, for later on. So what I find is I meet with a lot of people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that are that right now they're spending their future income because they're doing a lot with debt. Yeah. And it's so important that we get our debt under control. Yes. And that we start working towards financial freedom so that you don't have to work when you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And we're seeing people that are having to work because of what they didn't do in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And so that's why I really wanted to share with you some stories about ordinary people. You and I are ordinary. I mean,
I'm in the middle of this, guys. Like, so right now, if you looked at all the amounts of money in all my checking accounts, it's probably less than a lot of what you guys have. And let's be honest, I have 5 investment properties. In the last 3 years, I've put almost every cent I've had into the down payments and the renovations into these properties. But my vision is that someday very soon, that cash flow curve.
And it does. I promise you.
And so
it's
I'm in the
happen.
middle of this, guys. I'm not at the end, like, oh, look at me. I'm sitting on the mountaintop and I got $2 million worth of paid off investment properties. That's not me today.
You're going there.
Now, I am on my way.
Because you've got to start to get there, right?
Yes.
And that's why I wanted to have you, because I love that you are on this journey.
Yes.
And that's what I want to share with people. I've been doing this 30 years.
Yeah.
There's a reason that,
I've been doing it 3 years. So
3 years. There's a big difference.
5 properties in 3 years. But
I love it. And I'm 30 years, 35 properties. So, I mean, you're on your way.
Yeah.
And I love it because other people have paid mine off now.
Oh, and see,
I
can see that. That's my vision.
No,
right?
and you have to see it. And that's what I share with people all the time, Derek, is that you've got to get a plan. And I posted a video earlier today about where are you? You got to know where you are in order to know where you're going.
I agree with that.
And some people are happy with making $5,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are happy making $3,000 a month. Some people need $20,000 a month. The thing is it's your number. It's what do you need? Mm-hmm. And if we can show you how to build passive income streams, whether it's through doing side hustles, saving your money and buying something that'll throw off an income, which is rental property or stocks. Mm-hmm. My stock portfolio made about 14% last year.
That's amazing. Good for you.
And so, I mean, I do stocks, I have businesses, and I have rental properties. Mm-hmm. And so it's a mixture because you never know, right?
Well, I could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
so there's 2 things I want to say. First of all, a lot of people are like, where do I come up with the money? So I'm going to give you a couple things that I did. I'm not saying that these are prescriptions for you, but these are ideas or brainstorms. So one is capital gains exemption. So my wife and I, we've been married for 23 years, okay? So we bought a home, kept it for about 3 years, sold it, made a little bit of money. Capital gains free after that time period.
Yeah. And you know what? They also can buy their first home FHA. So it's only 3.5% down.
Yeah. And then
start saving your money now. And then you can do what he's talking about. And
because you just keep upgrading. So then we sold the second home, made a little bit of money, capital gains free. Then a third home, then a fourth home, then a fifth home. These are personal residences. Now, all of our friends and family think we're nuts. Like, you guys are moving every 2 to 3 years. I'm like, you know what? If you understood the power of
leverage and compounding.
So I made 20,000, then I made 50,000, then I made 100,000.
It's kind of like doing flips without doing flips, right?
And so I'm using my own property to flip, basically.
Yeah.
So we're finding properties or building properties in areas that we knew that we're going to grow, or we would finish the basement or change all the colors or paint the cabinets. Ooh, things that like most people just
there are
when
little
they see
fixes you can do.
Oh, they make a return on investment is huge, right?
Huge.
And so we know the business a little bit. So I have a little bit of like, I know this is a good area, or I know it's a good street. So selling real estate agent, I would partner up with a great real estate agent. If you're going to do the real estate thing,
and if you're in the Cincinnati area, the Tye team's a great real estate agent.
Yeah. But I would honestly partner up with a great agent, and we can also get your referral too. So you contact Myra and say, "Hey, I'm in Alaska. Who do I call?" She'll get you a real estate agent.
Yeah, we know them. We've got a bunch of them.
I mean, we know the top 1% of real estate agents. I'm the top 1% real estate agent in the country. I'm thankful for that, and we have a network, and Myra has a network of other top 1%ers.
Yes.
And I say that in the most like a humble way. I'm thankful for that, but at the same time, people that get stuff done, they know how to take good care of you. So
experience matters. Experience
with
matters.
Your money.
It's your money. And and I always ask people, if you're looking for a great realtor, especially if you're doing investment property, ask them if they have investment property.
I think it's
because it's kind of like, if I have never flown a plane, how can I teach you how to fly a plane? I can't.
I wouldn't want a vegan making me a real good cheeseburger. Let's put it that way. Okay.
It's a great point. That's a really good point.
Okay, and I mean, I have some nice vegan friends. I don't agree with them, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want them making me a big juicy cheeseburger, because they're not going to put the same love into it that I do.
A lot of fat.
Okay, you get what I'm saying.
I get exactly what you're saying. And the same thing is with real estate agents. We're not all equal.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to do investment property, ask questions. Do they own investment property?
Yeah.
Because how can they help you with their knowledge on helping you build your rental portfolio? I think it's really important. So that's a great point.
Yeah, if I was going to go to invest in, so I'm going to buy a couple vacation homes in the next 5 years, 10 years. One's in Park City, Utah, and one's in San Diego, California. Those are the 2 goals I have. I'm not going to try to do that on my own.
Yeah.
Like, I know Cincinnati, Ohio. I will partner up with an agent. I will call around. I'll find out who knows the vacation rental market.
Yeah.
And there's probably someone out there watching this now who's like, call me. Anyway, so you get what I'm saying. Like, I use the resources.
The Tye group, you can call them.
Yes, call me, yes. So here's the other way to make money. So one is flipping your own properties, okay? Second is you can also save money by owning a real estate business. So for example, if you own rental property, you can start writing things off. It's like the things that like you might not even realize, like you got to call your CPA and make sure you're staying in the lines. But like if you're buying equipment or you're doing things to fix up your rental properties, you get the benefit of those too, because you might need a shovel too for your own
there's
property.
some great write-offs. I mean, depreciation alone is probably one of my biggest write-offs. So
take advantage of that. And then I was telling Myra a story earlier about this washing machine, right? So my kids are like, Dad, when are we going to start buying nice stuff for ourselves? Because when I do these luxury 5-star Airbnb experiences, I'm putting in good stuff. Brand new Samsung side-by-side washing. I bought 4 of them for this one property because it sleeps 15 people. So I spent like $3,000 on these washer and dryers. So my kids saw an invoice that I paid for. They were all excited because we have these old beat-up washer and dryer. And they're like, so we're going to get a new washer and dryer? Because I make we have 5 kids. 3 of the teenage boys do their own laundry. And they're like, Dad, we're so excited.
That.
And I said, guys, it's not for you. And they're like, what? And I said, these are investments. Like, I get to buy this thing and it gets to be a return on investment. So my point is that, and then I ended up through another couple of real estate deals, I found another really nice use when we put in our own personal home.
Thank goodness. Those boys need good wash and dry.
I did finally, get uncheap a little bit.
But I love that you're teaching them about making money and that you're teaching them the value of $1.
Yes.
And I think that that's so important because we're not teaching about money in schools nowadays.
Yeah.
And money gives you options. Whether you like it or not, money does give you options in your life to work in your passion. Maybe your passion doesn't pay a lot of money. Yeah. And so it allows you to work in your passion and not have to worry about how much money you make.
Well, and that's the thing too is, guys, like we're not like washing paper towels and recycling like, baggies and stuff. I'm not that kind of guy. So I live a nice life. At the same time, I also understand the value of $1. And there are some things that I can leverage. There's some things that I can save. And there's other things that's like, you know what? I also want to have a good quality life. So I don't want you guys to hear this and go, well, Derek's the guy that, recycles garbage bags and does all kinds of weird stuff. I can't do that. I just can't do it.
I'm green, so I'm certified green.
So we all have our own, but that's the point is there's so many different ways to do this, right?
I love it.
So you can save money on your own personal expenses.
Well, and everything's different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I told you the story about Rick going to Walmart and showing me great value, their product line, and how much money he saves every week when he's at the grocery.
Times 50 weeks a year.
It adds up. And so, but listen, you got to start somewhere. Yeah. And if you're sitting there and you're wondering, how am I going to build financial freedom when I'm living paycheck to paycheck? Stop drinking the coffee, the $5 Starbucks coffee.
Yeah,
I mean, you start with, it's baby steps, you guys, and it's baby steps, and you've got to start it. You got to get started, and that's what this is all about. It's about taking the baby steps and getting started. It doesn't matter where you're at. You just got to know where you're at so you can move forward. And that's what's so important. And we're not going that way, so quit looking backwards. Let's move forward and get you on a financial plan to freedom. And that's why I wanted Derek to come, because he is working on his journey to financial freedom. And he wanted to share, the good, the bad, the ugly is what we always share here.
Oh, exactly.
So, because it's not easy. It's simple. Once you get your money under control and your spending habits under control, it's very simple. And it's $1 at a time that you're saving and to build. It starts right there. So,
and I think too,
give some tips and strategies about things you've learned along the way.
Well, how about the 6-day hustle, which I think
I love that.
I think I'm going to make my next book.
I love that. Share that. I think that's a great.
My next book actually comes out hopefully tomorrow. I don't know when you'll be watching this.
He already has a second book, and it's wonderful for real estate.
It's called The 7 Levers of Real Estate. It talks about if you're a real estate agent in that first 5 years and you want to get a breakthrough past $100,000 a year level. This is a blueprint.
It's a great book, you guys. And what I loved about it, Derek, is I want to give you a plug because I've read the book, the new book, and I love how simple it is. Y'all know I'm about the simple approach to everything. I do everything the simple way. And Derek's book, I think every new real estate agent out there, you need this book. If you are, or you're still new, if you're not selling what you want to be. Okay. So let me just say that. So when I say new, I mean, if you're not reaching your goals, we're all new. I don't care if you're 10 years in, you need this book if you're not reaching your goals, because it truly is the simple path
I appreciate
to real estate.
Well, here's what I believe. I believe in breakthrough. We all get to stuck points.
We do.
You're probably watching this because maybe you're like, oh, I'm stuck. I really want to do investing. I want to have a financial freedom freedom I know my family needs and deserves. And so there's a breakthrough point we all need to get through. And I feel like that's one layer. But what I was going to say earlier too, because I don't want to lose this, is that 6-day hustle.
Tell about that.
And I definitely love that term because I'm going to have to use that. So don't steal my term. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm always thinking here, right? So there's this great book called Thou Shalt Prosper.
I don't think you got to worry about that.
Yeah,
I think you're good.
Okay, Thou Shalt Prosper and Business Secrets from the Bible. This Daniel Lapin is an author, and he's a Jewish author, and he talks about like we all think we're supposed to work a 5-day work week. But really, in the history of the Bible, both in Judaism and Christianity, is you work 6 days a week. Well, we're all structured around a 5-day work week, and I believe in being home for dinner every night with my kids and my wife. I date her every week.
I love that, you guys. Every man out there, listen to what he's saying. This is a great idea.
So make sure you're dating your wife every week. And I take her out quarterly, just the two of us without the kids, to somewhere out of town. And then once a year, we try to even get away for a week at a time.
It's a great tip.
And then every week I'm dating her. And we do some really cheap date nights too. We don't have to spend a lot of money. There's this little wine tasting near our home, and it's $10 for 5 flights of wine and some cheese and crackers.
Oh.
And a lot of times we just go there. There's no tip, no tax.
Yeah.
$20. We got a little date night. So anyway.
That's perfect.
So,
and you can find those where you're located too.
So it doesn't have to be a fancy $200 dinner at a high-end steakhouse. Now we do that too sometimes, but that's usually like once a month. But like once a week, it's kind of a little bit more.
I think that's cool.
Thing. So anyway, here's the 6th day. So work your 5 days if you've got a traditional job right now, if you're hustling, whatever. But don't get in the mentality that you just take off 2 days a week every weekend. Because I know people that do that and they are stuck financially forever in one spot. If you can use 1 day a week to do your hustle, your side hustle. I've written 2 books in the last year. I have 5 investment properties. I have my wife's nutritional business, which I've helped her start and launch in 3 years. She has digital
Give her a
products.
plug.
She's amazing, by the way. JessicaTye.com is her website. But she's a nutritional therapy practitioner. And
if you're doing keto, she's your girl.
Oh yeah, she's been getting people all over the world breakthrough. She's had 420,000 downloads on her podcast in 3 years. She's on fire. She's got a conference this weekend that she's got people from all over the country coming to in our town at one of our Airbnb properties. So
perfect.
Cool.
So anyway, you want to give her a plug.
That's a little plug. So my point is like people ask me all the time, Derek, how do you do all this? How do you keep all this straight? And I don't really feel like I probably work about 40 hours a week in my normal real estate selling career. And then I work every Saturday and some evenings and weekends on my laptop on my side hustles.
Yeah.
Writing the books, starting the little coaching business I did. So now those are all residual streams of income.
Yes.
So if we have another little downturn in the economy, which could very well happen, right? Then I've got some extra protection out there.
I love that.
I can lean back on my rental properties. I can book sales. I mean, I don't make a ton of money on books.
Yeah.
The books are more of just my passion project. But if I make $100 a month and Amazon just sends me checks from selling
we call that
books.
mailbox money.
Mailbox money, for real. It literally gets direct deposited. $100 a month may not seem like a lot, but it enables me not to have to wash my Bounty paper towels.
You guys, we want to thank you for viewing, and we are thrilled to be here with you on this financial freedom journey. And Derek, I want to thank you for coming, and we want you to come back. So we want to keep you. We want you to keep us updated on the books and all the things you're doing, and bring us some more tips and strategies on how we can have financial freedom, because we want you to be free to do the things you want to do and be with your family and spend time with them. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell and give me a thumbs up. We appreciate you, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Bye. Thank you.